Hello and welcome back to Jazz Bass Secrets. I'm Cyrus Sink. In this lesson we're going to look at another common 2-5-1 lick and apply it in several keys and look at some ways that we can vary that lick using some common jazz devices. So first we're going to play it in the key of B flat using a C minor 7th for one bar, an F 7th for one bar, and a B flat major type chord for 2 bars. Let's play the lick very slowly. It begins on the note B, which is the major 7th degree on the minor chord, which is a little bit unusual but not uncommon. Here's the lick. Again, more slowly. Okay, a little brighter. Again. Noticed I used slightly different articulation the second time. Try to bring the line to life using various articulation techniques, accents, dynamics, and things like that. Okay. Let's look at something else that we could do with this line. One way to vary it would be to change the chord scale a little on the dominant chord and include some notes from the diminished or altered scale. For example, so there we used the flat 9, sharp 9, flat 9. So again. That time I used a different fingering on the altered notes instead of different effect. Okay, let's use octave displacement to vary the line we just modified. So we'll do it very slowly. Okay, so there, instead of when we reach the third of the F7 chord, the third, instead of descending, we're going to ascend. Okay, so let's look at that in rhythm. Vary what you do on the major chord at the end, that's up to you. Okay, so we used octave displacement to vary the line. Let's look at it in a couple of different keys using a transposition cycle of major chords moving down through the cycle of fifths. That will allow us to cover all 12 keys in our practicing. So, let's start in the key of C, so we'll have D minor 7, G7, C7. Let's look at the lick slowly in the key of C. Again. Let's look at one of the variations. Perhaps a little brighter. Okay, let's look at that in the next key that we would be checking out, which would be the key of F, the next chord in the cycle of fifths. So our progression will be G minor 7, C7, F major 7th. Let's look at it in a higher octave this time. It can be played low or high. We'll go high this time. And we'll go slowly. Again, we're starting on the note F sharp, which is the 7th degree of the minor chord scale. Okay? Let's look at one of the variations. There it is in that key. We've looked at it in the key of B flat already. You can continue to transpose through the cycle of fifths, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, etc. Using this lick and variations on it. I'll play a few more variations using some common ideas. Let's look at several ways, more ways to vary this 2-5-1 idea and look at some different transposition ideas. I will return to the key of B flat. Now when I reach the third of the F7 chord, I'm going to descend chromatically from the third to the flat 7th. And I'm going to enclose the third of the B flat chord. It sounds like this. Various articulations can be used. Let's look at transposing this by major chords descending by whole steps. So we'll have a 2-5-1 in D, E minor 7, A7, D major 7th. Then we'll have a 2-5-1, a whole step down in C, D minor 7th, G7, C major 7th. Continuing down to B flat, we'll have C minor 7, F7, B flat 7, continuing through the cycle of fifths. This will not cover all 12 keys. You'll need to slide up a half step and do the same thing to cover all 12 keys. Okay, let's look at it in the key of D. Now the key of C. Key of B flat. Continuing down, you could go to the next, to the key of A flat, giving you a B flat. Etc. through the cycle of fifths. There's another variation. Let's do just maybe one more variation on this line, and then we'll leave it alone. And you can figure out other variations of your own by experimenting, composing, stealing licks from other people. This should be enough to get you started. In our final variation, we'll just enclose some chord tones of the dominant chord. So back to the key of B flat. From our C minor 7, F7, B flat progression, we'll have in rhythm. Using a cliche at the end, a major chord cliche. The possibilities are really quite endless. Etc. You could go on and on. So one last way to vary a lick would be to modify it to fit a different harmonic rhythm using some of the essential concepts. I'll give you one example of that using this major 7th on the minor 7th chord. So let's look at a C to F7, 2 beats per chord, C minor 7, F7. So we're going to say, again, this is useful for going through turnarounds or various cycles. We'll do E, A, D, G, C, F, B flat. many uses for that lick. When we come back, we will look at another lick, perhaps less in depth, but now you have some ideas for how to vary a line and recompose it. One final idea that I forgot to mention here is that you can omit notes from the line to give it some rhythmic variety. One way to do that would be to just take out, say for example, this part of the line and just pick it up from here. So you say, so 1, 2, 3, etc. Just omit notes from the line. Okay, that covers it. I'll look forward to teaching you another useful 2/5 lick in the next session of Jazz Bass Secrets. Stay tuned.